First, I want to thank the people of District 3 for electing me to City Council 2 years ago. It has been my pleasure to have gotten to know many of you over the past 2 years and to serve as your representative. For background, I am married to my wife Tiffany. We have 4 children who attend Hudson Middle School and EP Rock Elementary School. I work as a religion teacher at Hill Murray School in Maplewood, where I have served for the past 23 years. I also serve as the coordinator for youth and young adult ministry at Guardian Angels Church in Oakdale, where I have been the past 8 years. I really enjoy working and supporting young people in their faith development. I have been active volunteering in our community with 9 years serving as prison ministry at St. Croix County Jail and 4 years coaching softball in Hudson Boosters and the Hudson Soccer Association. As far as my qualifications, I have served on the City Council for the past 2 years and have been a member of the Public Works Committee, the Park Board, and liaison to the Hudson School Board. My guiding principles for city government are my Christian values, forward thinking, and respectful dialogue. First, I love Hudson and want to make sure it continues to be a strong community and a great place to raise a family. Second, I want to continue to listen to the people of District 3 and to advocate for their needs in forming public policy that works for them. Third, because I'm a Christian, I believe it is very important to ensure Hudson continues to be a welcoming community to all of its faiths, races, and ethnicities, income levels, and orientations. Our diversity is a strength that we should value and build upon. Our goal should be to make our community accessible so that everyone can enjoy our amenities, schools, businesses, natural beauty, community, and cultural life. I think there are many challenges facing Hudson in the next 2 years. First, we need to develop a comprehensive plan that will be a roadmap to guide us to the year 2040. I believe a balanced plan will allow for businesses and housing growth while maintaining our historic downtown and making sure we preserve public parks. Second, I would like to see us develop a long-term plan to repair and replace roads, sidewalks, trails, and curbs. This past year, the city completed a GIS inventory on our sidewalks and curbs, and we have PACER ratings for all the streets in town. A PACER rating ranks roads on a scale of 1 to 10 and is used by the city to determine roads needing to be reconstructed or patched up. I believe we should use that data to come up with priorities for repairing and replacing those infrastructures over the next few years. Third, I would like to work for park upgrades such as a pavilion at Grandview Park and perhaps a splash pad at White Camp Park. The pavilions we currently have are rented frequently for events, so an additional one would be a great asset for our community. We also have set land aside for Grandview Park for 8 to 12 pickleball courts, and we support the work that the Hudson Pickleball Association is doing in raising funds to build those courts. Fourth, I would like to explore options for creating a parking ramp in the downtown area. This might be a public-private partnership of some type. We do currently have a request for proposal out to developers that is due back to us this July to see what is feasible. Lastly, I believe we need to have affordable housing in Hudson so that young teachers, police officers, and others can afford to live in the city where they work. This is an important question because we have many older residents in District 3 who live on fixed incomes, so I would like to protect them from tax increases. Most people do not know we already run a very efficient city government with fewer staff members than cities like River Falls nearby. Since 70% of our annual city operational budget goes to staffing, we actually don't have many places where we can reduce current spending without sacrificing necessary city services like public safety, clean water, waste management, public works, and keeping up our parks. There are some areas where we have already cut city spending. Our new city administrator, Aaron Reeves, went through every budget item last fall and eliminated any unnecessary expenses, so we already are running an efficient local government. In addition, we have hired a city engineer, which has saved us costs from hiring engineering firms for city projects, and we also bill his time out to private developers working on projects in Hudson, so much of his annual salary is reimbursed from private sources. I also think the flip side of the question is important to ask. How can we create more city revenue without raising property taxes? The answer is through welcoming and managing business growth and residential development. We have important new growth occurring in St. Croix Meadows, Bella Rose, on Carmichael and Vine, and in other areas of our city. We have created TIF districts, tax incremental financing, in these areas to help stimulate the growth in the future. And when we close those TIF districts, the city and school district will benefit from large increases in tax revenues, which will help keep tax levels down for all residents. Finally, many people may not be aware of this, but some of our large businesses in town have been using what is called the dark store loophole. This loophole allows them to challenge their assessed values beyond what is reasonable to reduce paying their fair share of taxes to the city. We need to work with our state government representatives to close these loopholes in order to make sure they pay their fair share of city taxes and protect our residents from future tax increases. I think we are doing a good job in some areas of infrastructure and have some room to grow in other areas. On the positive side, the City Council has already approved upgrades to the waste management facility, which will get us through the next 20 years. We have plenty of capacity now and for increased future demand for city waste. In addition, we are working with the state of Wisconsin in 2021 to redo the 2nd Street, also known as Highway 35, so that will help our community. We will most likely be making upgrades to some of the sewer and sidewalks that run along 2nd Street during that project upgrade in order to save future costs. We also do have plans for a mill and overlay project on Industrial Street and Stage Line Road that will help that area for many years. On the flip side, however, we have room to improve in some areas. We have not yet been in compliance with standards set by the American Disabilities Act for curb ramps for pedestrians with disabilities. I'm going to my paper copy now. We're going off script here. We also recently applied for a joint grant with the Hudson School District to create more safe routes for children to schools. One grant in District 3 would create sidewalks along Summer Street to ensure elementary school children have a safer place to walk to EP Rock, especially during the winter months when snow builds up on the sides of the roads. We're also waiting on the state of Wisconsin regarding the I-94 and Carmichael interchange. With the growing population and traffic, there's more traffic usage, and the interchange will likely need to be redone to accommodate that traffic volume change. In addition, we will be working to widen both Vine Street and Carmichael Road at the Bella Rose development when it gets developed in the future. We also need to look at increasing traffic levels on Carmichael south of 94 near the St. Croix Meadows development. That will create more traffic in that system. And really syncing some of those lights and adding some additional turn lanes will be of help there in the future, I believe. Finally, we have begun to talk with potential other council members about widening 11th Street Bridge, also known as the Hagen Street Bridge, because traffic often backs up there during the peak hours, so we need to look at that. And then lastly, I mentioned I think we need a more proactive plan for general road, sidewalk, and trail repair in the future. We have that data we need in the GIS system, but what we don't have right now, honestly, is the funding. Currently, we only spend about $230,000 of our capital improvement budget annually repairing roads, and it is $75,000 that we put in annually for our sidewalk upkeep. So that money just doesn't take us as far as we need to go. So mostly I think this is a Band-Aid approach that is not working to maintain our infrastructure for the long-term future. So we do have some room in terms of additional funding in that area. So we are currently under a moratorium on annexing land in Hudson, and that is because we are trying to put pressure on the state of Wisconsin to deal with the I-94 interchange that I was just talking about, which runs along Carmichael. However, when that moratorium ends someday, there may be an opportunity to annex more land, and what we would have to look at are areas primarily east and south. And remember that annexing land is always up to the landowners, so they would have to approach us on that. And my biggest concern would be, or my biggest question would be, why are we annexing and what are we going to use that development for? So I would really be concerned with evaluating what's good for Hudson in the future and doing my homework on any of those questions. While we've already adopted the Lakefront Park Vision Study to guide our future, this is a long-term plan that will take maybe 10 to 20 years to realize. The plan will preserve the green space at Lakefront Park while adding some additional amenities. We hope to build a transient or seasonal dock at some point to encourage boaters to stop in Hudson during the summer and frequent our businesses. We are also currently creating a plan to lift the boat launch so that we can use it when the water is high. And we are looking at bathroom improvements in the Buckeye Garage, which is located near Picnic Point. I believe we should be cautious in preserving the unique and historic downtown area, including the green spaces in Lakefront Park, as I believe it's the crown jewel of our city, and it attracts many visitors and people to our community. First and foremost, I want to apologize for any confusion and frustration that we may have caused you and the people of Hudson as we transitioned from the old meter system to the new parking pay stations. While I believe the city worked hard to educate people about the changes and we were patient in implementing the new system, in retrospect, it was a mistake to make that transition in the middle of winter, so it was not a good time to roll out the new system. But the good news is that the city has heard the suggestions of citizens and responded in positive ways by making parking free for anybody who is a resident of Hudson, age 65 or older. All you need to do is go down to City Hall and register your license plate. We also voted at our last meeting to create 4 hours of free parking in the Beach House lot, in Williams lot, which is right behind the old fire station. And then there are about 24, 25 spaces along First Street, which are the angle parking, just north of Vine Street, essentially the spaces right in front of the library. So these changes will add up to 161 free 4-hour parking spaces and encourage people to go downtown and enjoy themselves and to frequent our businesses and enjoy the beautiful Riverway. That said, long term, I still think we need to look at options for creating a parking ramp in downtown Hudson to make it easier for people to enjoy going downtown. As mentioned previously, we do have a request for proposal out to developers to see what is feasible for a parking ramp near the old fire station. And we also have a second developer who's looking at the possibility of building a parking ramp with a convention center in the Wells Fargo lot downtown. So all of that will be evaluated in the coming year. I think Hudson is in a great position with city staff. In recent years, we have hired City Administrator Aaron Reeves, City Planner and Assistant Administrator Mike Johnson, Public Works and Park Director Mike Mraz, Finance Director Allison Egger, and City Engineer Dean Chamberlain. Now this staff is talented, they are creative, they are energetic, they are hardworking, and they are providing great leadership for our staff in order to serve the needs of our community. I think it's very, very important that we support them and give them the resources to make our city continue to grow and thrive. So in conclusion, I would like to say thank you to the people of District 3 for your support. It is a privilege to serve you, and I'm asking for your vote on April 7th. Together, we can make a difference in ensuring our community continues to thrive and be a place where all feel welcome. Thank you.